Welcome back to another deep dive. Today, we're really unpicking a topic that has, well, fundamentally reshaped nearly every facet of our professional and personal lives: social media.
Mm,
For healthcare professionals, particularly in the demanding field of orthopedic surgery, it's evolved into an incredibly potent yet undeniably complex instrument.
absolutely.
We're going to embark on a thorough exploration of its widespread adoption in orthopedic practice, dissecting its truly remarkable benefits for patient engagement, professional development, and even public health initiatives.
Yes, the upsides are significant.
But, crucially, we won't shy away from the significant challenges and potential pitfalls that inherently come with navigating this digital landscape. It's a delicate balancing act, isn't it? Using these powerful platforms wisely and ethically.
It really is a tightrope walk sometimes.
Joining us today to expertly navigate this rapidly evolving terrain is Professor Mo Imam, whose profound insights will guide us through every nuance of this digital frontier.
Thank you. It's an area of immense importance, precisely because social media's footprint in healthcare has expanded, well, exponentially in recent years.
Exponentially is the word.
It now influences everything, from the very first point of communication with a patient to how we collaborate as multidisciplinary teams to the dissemination of critical medical knowledge.
Right across the board.
Understanding its full scope, from its undeniable advantages to its very real and significant risks, is not just beneficial, but absolutely paramount for modern orthopedic practice. It's about being effective, yes, but also about being responsible.
That's a brilliant framing. So let's unpack this, starting with just how utterly pervasive social media has become in the realm of healthcare. It's gone from being merely a tool for personal communication, a place to catch up with friends, to a genuinely vital platform for health-related purposes affecting both the general public and healthcare professionals in profound ways.
A huge shift.
We've seen compelling data, for instance, indicating that a staggering 66% of the UK population now actively uses some form of social media account. That's a huge segment of the population, isn't it?
It's the vast majority, really.
But what's truly transformative for our field is how this has recalibrated patient behavior.
Precisely. If we look across the pond, almost 90% of adults in the U.S. now explicitly use social media to search for health information.
90%.
Yes. And this isn't just about general wellness tips. It's about specific conditions, treatment options, and even choosing a doctor.
Right, they're doing their research.
They are. And here's where it gets particularly eye-opening for us. A significant portion of Americans are now turning to platforms like TikTok, YouTube, and various online forums for health queries before they even consider contacting their general practitioner, let alone an orthopedic specialist.
Wow, before even the GP.
Before the GP.
Yeah.
This signifies a fundamental shift in the initial touch point for patient engagement.
That statistic about TikTok is genuinely striking. It means that the traditional patient journey, from symptom to GP to specialist, is being profoundly disrupted.
Completely remodeled in some cases.
So when we talk about orthopedics specifically, how does this broader societal trend translate? What does it mean for how an orthopedic surgeon or their practice engages with potential patients?
Well, what's fascinating here is that this shift isn't just a general healthcare trend. It directly and profoundly impacts orthopedic surgeons.
How so?
Consider this data point. One study revealed that 34.2% of patients who ultimately consulted an orthopedist had first used the internet as their initial research tool.
So over a third are coming in pre-informed or at least pre-research.
Exactly. This suggests a significant segment of our patient population is doing their homework online before they ever walk through our clinic doors.
Mm-hmm.
Even more striking, nearly 48.5% of those patients expressed a clear preference for websites where they could directly ask physicians questions.
That's almost half wanting direct online interaction.
Precisely. This isn't just a minor preference. It's a strong indication that patients are actively seeking direct, credible interaction in the digital space.
So the implication for practices.
The implication for orthopedic practices is clear. Your online presence isn't just a nice-to-have. It's rapidly becoming a primary point of contact and information gathering for your prospective patients. If you're not there, providing value and answers, you're potentially missing that crucial first engagement.
That truly is a huge shift in patient behavior, demanding a proactive and thoughtful response from the medical community.
Definitely.
And we've seen a rapid and quite dramatic increase in how orthopedic programs and individual surgeons are adopting social media. It wasn't a gradual climb, it was almost an explosion, particularly and quite understandably during the challenging period of the COVID-19 pandemic.
That was a real catalyst.
Can you detail some of those growth trends for us? What kind of numbers are we talking about?
Indeed. The institutional adoption, particularly during the pandemic, has been nothing short of staggering.
Staggering how?
If we look at the period from May 2019 to November 2020, which essentially encompasses the initial 9 months or so of the COVID-19 pandemic.
Right, that key period.
The number of Instagram accounts specifically for orthopedic residency and fellowship programs surged by an astounding 620%.
620%. That's incredible.
Just think about that growth rate.
Mhm.
Twitter, or X as it's now known, accounts weren't far behind, increasing by a remarkable 177%, and Facebook accounts still saw a substantial 69% rise.
So across the major platforms.
Yes, but it wasn't just about creating accounts. The activity on these platforms also boomed. Posts on Instagram by existing program accounts increased by 96% after the pandemic's onset,
So nearly double the content.
signaling a much more active and consistent engagement from these academic institutions, likely driven by the need for remote recruitment and communication.
That makes sense, replacing the usual open days and tours.
Exactly. Now, if we pivot to individual surgeons, while professional websites remain the most common digital presence, with usage as high as 98% across the board,
Still the foundation.
there's considerable variation across other social platforms. Take Twitter, for instance. Its use among orthopedic surgeons has shown a significant shift. In some subspecialties, like U.S. hand surgeons, it was as low as 1.7%.
Very low.
But in other regions, such as Saudi Arabia, it was embraced by a remarkable 76% of orthopedic subspecialists.
76%. That's a huge difference.
It is. This clearly highlights not only evolving preferences for specific platforms, but also notable regional, cultural, and even subspecialty influences on platform choice and utility.
That's a fascinating point about regional differences and subspecialties. It suggests that a one-size-fits-all approach to social media probably won't cut it.
Not at all. Context is key.
And what about demographics within the orthopedic community itself? Are younger surgeons leading this charge?
That's certainly what the data suggests.
And how might their use differ between, say, a surgeon in private practice versus one in an academic institution?
You've hit on a crucial distinction. Studies consistently indicate that orthopedic surgeons under the age of 40, particularly residents still in training, are significantly more likely to use social media.
Which feels intuitive, I suppose.
It makes perfect sense, given their generation's inherent familiarity and comfort with these digital platforms, especially visually driven ones like Instagram and Snapchat. For them, it's a native environment.
Right.
And there's a clear and compelling distinction emerging between private practice surgeons and those based in academic settings.
Okay, tell us about that.
Private practice surgeons tend to find social media far more crucial for patient recruitment and enhancing their practice's visibility. In fact, some data suggest they're almost twice as active on social media than their hospital-based or academic counterparts.
Twice as active. So driven by patient acquisition.
Their primary driver is often practice growth and direct patient connection.
Yes.
Conversely, academic-based orthopedic surgeons, for instance, hip arthroscopy specialists, were found to be more likely to use platforms like Twitter X.
Okay, different platform, different goals.
Their motivation is often different. Promoting their research findings, engaging in scholarly discussions, and building their academic profile. This suggests that while social media is broadly adopted, the strategic why behind its use varies significantly based on one's professional environment and career objectives.
So it's really about leveraging the right platform for the right purpose, depending on your role.
Precisely.
That's incredibly insightful. It truly shows how deeply ingrained social media has become, not just for patient interaction and recruitment, but also for very specific professional advancement goals. So beyond personal connections, how does social media truly support the professional growth of orthopedic surgeons? It seems to offer unique avenues for networking, continuous education, and career advancement that traditional methods might not fully capture.
Absolutely.
Can you give us a more detailed look at that?
Certainly. Social media platforms provide a multifaceted and dynamic approach to professional development that extends far beyond casual networking. One core area is collaboration and knowledge sharing.
How does that work in practice?
Surgeons are increasingly leveraging these platforms to collaborate on research projects, often finding co-authors or seeking expert feedback in real time. They can quickly access trending research findings, often even before they're formally published,
We're getting ahead of the curve.
and disseminate their own medical knowledge more broadly to a global audience. For instance, we've seen platforms like Pinterest being cleverly used for curating and sharing healthcare quality education materials in a visual, digestible format.
Pinterest. That's surprising.
It is, but quite effective for certain types of visual information. Twitter, as mentioned, is invaluable for breaking news and real-time conference updates. And LinkedIn has become a vital platform for career advancement, offering opportunities for mentorship, job searches, and professional networking.
Right, the professional network.
Crucially, for orthopedic surgeons who often subspecialize into very niche areas, these platforms can create a powerful, supportive online environment,
Connecting the specialists.
enabling them to connect with peers facing similar diagnostic or surgical challenges and sharing highly specific expertise that might be hard to find offline. Imagine a spine surgeon in one country instantly connecting with another across the globe to discuss a complex case.
That's a great point about subspecialization. It truly makes the world feel smaller for these highly specialized professionals.
It really does bridge geographical gaps.
What about formal learning and keeping up with the latest advancements? How do these platforms fit into continuous medical education?
That brings us to the second major benefit: remote learning and enhanced conference engagement.
Okay.
Social media has, in many ways, democratized access to medical education. It allows professionals to follow medical conferences remotely, often participating in discussions and receiving real-time updates without the need for expensive travel.
Huge for accessibility.
Absolutely. Twitter in particular has revolutionized this. We now have established Twitter journal clubs, where a peer-reviewed article is discussed in depth through a series of structured tweets, allowing participation from hundreds, even thousands, of surgeons worldwide.
A global journal club, essentially.
Precisely. Real-time discussions during major orthopedic events also significantly enhance speaker presentations by integrating immediate comments, questions, and even polls from a global audience. This creates a much richer, more interactive learning experience than simply watching a lecture.
That makes sense. More engagement.
Thirdly, for career advancement and visibility, social media can significantly broaden a surgeon's exposure.
How so?
It can put them on the radar of potential funders for research projects, connect them with publishers for their written works, and genuinely assist with job searches by showcasing their expertise and professional brand.
Building that online CV, almost.
In a dynamic way, yes. It offers an immediate way to market teams, advertise new services, or highlight clinical breakthroughs. The concept of building a national or international reputation can now be visibly demonstrated and accelerated through active, high-quality accounts and extensive, relevant professional connections.
So it's not just publications anymore.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's noteworthy that a significant majority of society presidents across various medical fields now maintain active social media accounts, underscoring its importance in professional standing and leadership. It's no longer just about publishing in a journal. It's about engaging in the broader intellectual discourse.
Fascinating. And the final point.
And finally, it offers an unparalleled space for expert discussion with colleagues.
The virtual common room.
It essentially creates a vibrant online physician's lounge, or virtual common room, where orthopedic surgeons can discuss interesting or difficult clinical cases, of course, always with strict adherence to patient privacy.
Always the caveat.
Always. This environment fosters immediate peer consultation, allowing them to gain diverse perspectives and insights in a dynamic, asynchronous manner. It's a powerful way to troubleshoot, share best practices, and collectively improve clinical outcomes.
Sounds incredibly useful.
However, it's imperative to add a crucial caution here. While sharing general medical knowledge and discussing trends is highly beneficial, these platforms must never be used for specific diagnosis or individual patient treatment advice without a full in-person clinical examination and formal consultation.
That line seems critical.
The online environment is for general discussion and knowledge exchange, not for replacing the fundamental doctor-patient relationship. That distinction is absolutely vital for maintaining safety and ethical boundaries.
That distinction is so vital, and you've really articulated the profound shift in professional development. Now, let's pivot slightly and explore how social media functions as a truly powerful patient engagement tool in orthopedics. You mentioned the trust factor earlier. How does social media help patients get to know, and trust a doctor even before they step into the clinic?
Well, it's fundamental to building that initial connection.
It's almost like the digital equivalent of a Yelp review for a restaurant, isn't it? Providing that crucial social proof in a professional context.
It absolutely is. And this social proof is transforming how patients choose their healthcare providers and build confidence in their decisions.
So how does that manifest?
For patient education and combating misinformation, orthopedic surgeons have an incredibly powerful platform.
Right, cutting through the noise.
They can use these channels to proactively educate patients about common orthopedic conditions, surgical procedures, and post-operative recovery. More importantly, they can directly dispel prevalent myths that often cause anxiety or lead to delayed treatment.
What kind of myths are we talking about?
Oh, common ones. Fears like being too old or too young for surgery, misconceptions about unbearable pain after the procedure, or the damaging belief that delaying surgery is always better, even when clinical evidence suggests otherwise.
Things you probably hear in clinic all the time.
Exactly. By consistently providing accurate fact sheets, answering frequently asked questions in an accessible format, or even creating short, engaging videos, surgeons can directly counteract the torrent of misinformation that patients often encounter online.
And does it work? Do patients trust it?
A truly significant finding supports this. 60% of social media users explicitly trust their doctor's posts over other information they encounter online.
60%? That's huge.
It is. This isn't just a number. It means that surgeons aren't just putting information out there. They're actively becoming the most trusted arbiters of truth for their patients in an increasingly noisy digital world.
That's quite a responsibility.
A responsibility that carries immense weight and opportunity. Look at the Mayo Clinic, for instance. They use YouTube videos brilliantly to create a sort of virtual hospital experience for hip and knee replacement patients.
What was the impact?
It significantly decreased preoperative anxiety among those patients. They felt more prepared, more informed.
That 60% figure is a game changer. It highlights the immense power and responsibility that comes with a surgeon's online presence. So beyond education, how does social media facilitate building and nurturing those crucial patient relationships?
Indeed. Next, social media is invaluable for relationship building and enhancing the overall patient experience.
So keeping patients engaged post-op too.
It's not just about attracting new patients, it's about nurturing relationships with existing ones and capturing positive sentiment that, in turn, attracts new ones. For example, a surgeon might share insights into their practice's patient-centered approach or highlight success stories, anonymously, of course.
Building that community feel.
Crucially, these platforms can facilitate informal follow-up checks after treatment, allowing doctors perhaps to share general recovery tips or links to physio exercises, assess patient condition and response to recovery generally,
Which must boost confidence.
which in turn can significantly increase patient confidence and adherence to post-op instructions. The ability for patients to report their personal experiences, share their recovery journeys within supportive communities, if moderated properly, and receive general feedback fosters a sense of community and support around a practice. This collective positive experience can be a powerful draw.
Okay, so education, relationships. What else?
Furthermore, it profoundly improves accessibility and the promotion of specific services.
Making the practice more visible.
Exactly. Social media can make orthopedic practices far more visible and accessible. You can promote specific services, highlight cutting-edge procedures, or announce new clinic hours directly to your target demographic.
Practical stuff too.
We're even seeing innovative pilot programs from large pharmacies and insurers using social media for practical administrative functions, like prescription refill reminders and appointment scheduling,
Really? Integrated like that?
illustrating the potential for integrated, seamless patient services that enhance convenience.
Interesting.
And finally, the sheer audience reach of social media is undeniable.
The scale is vast.
With billions of people active on these platforms globally, healthcare professionals can reach an incredibly wide audience efficiently, conveying crucial public health messages, building brand awareness for their practice, and establishing connections in a way that traditional outreach methods simply cannot match in terms of scale or speed.
Meeting patients where they are.
It's about meeting patients where they already are, proactively engaging them in their digital environment. Imagine being able to share a fact-checked video about ACL injury prevention to thousands of amateur athletes in your local community with a single click. The impact is exponential.
The benefits for both professional development and patient engagement are, as you've so clearly articulated, incredibly compelling.
They certainly can be.
But, as with any immensely powerful tool, Social media also presents significant challenges and risks for orthopedic surgeons. It's not just about what you post, is it?
No, not at all.
But equally how it's perceived, how it's interpreted, and its lasting, often indelible impact. Let's delve into these critical issues because understanding them is just as important as understanding the benefits.
Indeed, the digital landscape, for all its immense advantages, is truly fraught with potential pitfalls that require extreme vigilance. The first, and perhaps most immediate concern, is damage to one's professional image.
The reputational risk.
This is crucial. All social media posts, regardless of perceived privacy settings, should always be considered public and potentially permanent.
Assume everything's public.
Always. Unprofessional content, graphic material, even if related to a clinical case, but shared without proper context or privacy adherence, or inappropriate personal behavior on what you might consider private accounts, can, and frequently does, lead to severe consequences.
Like what?
We've seen formal censures from state medical boards, disciplinary actions from healthcare systems, and even job terminations.
Serious consequences.
Very. It's a stark reality that employers and residency programs now routinely check social media profiles of applicants. One study revealed that 79% of employers view online information about candidates.
Nearly 80%.
Yet a concerningly low 7% of job candidates are aware of this practice.
That's a huge disconnect.
It underscores that discretion in online content is not merely advised. It is a fundamental expectation of professionalism. Despite conscious efforts to maintain separate personal and professional accounts, the lines invariably blur.
Hard to keep them totally separate.
Personal and professional contacts often overlap, making a complete separation difficult, if not impossible. It's paramount for surgeons to periodically search for their own names online to ensure their digital footprint projects the desired professional image consistently.
Do a digital health check on yourself.
Exactly. A single ill-judged post, even from years ago, can resurface and have career-altering consequences.
That's a sobering thought. The permanence of the internet is something we often forget until it affects us directly. What about patient privacy? That seems like an enormous minefield given the nature of healthcare.
You've hit on perhaps the most critical and complex area. Breaches of patient privacy, often referred to as HIPAA pitfalls in some regions, though similar regulations exist globally.
The big one.
Strict compliance with all privacy regulations is absolutely paramount. Protected health information, or PHI, is broadly construed.
It's not just names, is it?
No, it includes direct identifiers like names, medical record numbers, and photos, but also seemingly innocuous tidbits, for example, unique tattoos, specific dates of treatment, or even a particular diagnosis in a small community that, when combined with other publicly available information, could inadvertently identify a patient.
The jigsaw effect.
Precisely. The penalties for violations are severe and escalating. They can range from civil fines, starting at a minimum of $127 per violation for a lack of knowledge, escalating significantly up to an annual limit of $1.9 million for uncorrected willful neglect.
Huge fines.
And in the most egregious cases, criminal charges can apply for knowingly disclosing PHI.
Wow. Criminal charges.
Consider the stark illustration of the coffee shop test. A physician in Rhode Island was fined for comments about a patient, even without mentioning their name.
No name mentioned.
Because enough incidental information was shared for others in their small community to identify that individual. This highlights the insidious nature of indirect identifiers.
So context is everything.
Absolutely. The only permissible way to share health information widely is if it is genuinely de-identified, meaning all specific identifiers are removed, either formally by an expert statistician or through meticulous scrubbing to ensure no re-identification is possible.
That sounds complex itself.
It requires care. While secure, IP-compliant messaging systems like Doximity exist for professional consultation. Obtaining informed consent before any online discussions about medical care, even in these systems, is crucial.
Get consent first.
And crucially, all such interactions must be meticulously documented in the patient's formal medical chart. The risks are simply too high to leave anything to chance.
That coffee shop test really hammers home the subtlety of what constitutes identifiable information. It's not just explicit names.
Not at all.
Beyond privacy, what about the professional boundaries between a surgeon and their patients in the online realm?
That leads directly to the critical issue of violation of patient HCP boundaries.
The friending problem.
Professional guidelines across the medical spectrum strongly discourage friending or connecting with patients on general social media platforms like Facebook, Instagram, or Twitter X.
Even if the patient asks.
This holds true even if patients initiate the contact. The reason is simple. These platforms blur professional lines, can create an expectation of availability, and can undermine the therapeutic relationship.
Right, it changes the dynamic.
Instead, it is strongly advised to direct patients to secure dedicated platforms designed for health-related updates, such as CaringBridge, or to your professional practice's official social media pages,
Which are designed for one-way info, mostly.
which are designed for general information sharing, not one-on-one interaction.
Makes sense.
A complex ethical issue also arises with what's termed patient-targeted Googling. That is, using information found online about patients, perhaps discovering risk-taking behaviors or lifestyle choices.
Googling your patients. Is that common?
It happens. While this information might seem relevant clinically, the ethical question lies in how to handle such discoveries in clinical judgment without fundamentally compromising the essential trust in the doctor-patient relationship.
Tricky territory.
It's a delicate balance. You have new information, but how did you get it, and how does using it impact the patient's trust and autonomy?
That's a truly nuanced ethical challenge. And of course, the digital world is a hotbed for misinformation. How does that impact orthopedic surgeons, and what responsibility do they have in combating it?
This brings us to the pervasive problem of medical misinformation.
It's everywhere.
Social media's unparalleled ability for rapid dissemination means that both accurate and inaccurate information spreads at lightning speed. The COVID-19 pandemic, as you can imagine, dramatically magnified this problem,
Oh, absolutely.
with nearly 8 in 10 adults encountering health misinformation online. This isn't just irritating, it has tangible, damaging consequences.
Real-world harm.
Consider the case of a chiropractor, for example, who faced an $80,000 fine for deceptively marketing products, claiming to treat COVID more effectively than vaccines.
Wow.
These instances erode public trust and can lead patients to make dangerously uninformed health decisions. Orthopedic surgeons, like all healthcare professionals, have a crucial responsibility to ensure their online content is scientifically accurate and, critically, to actively refute misinformation.
So you can't just ignore it.
Ignoring misinformation is no longer an option. It's arguably a professional duty to counter it. This should ideally be done offline in direct patient conversations or by directing patients to verified, peer-reviewed sources from reputable organizations.
Point them to the good stuff.
Exactly.
And what about the less obvious pitfalls, like conflicts of interest or legal repercussions? These seem like areas where a surgeon could inadvertently stumble.
They absolutely are. Conflicts of interest present a notable and growing risk.
Especially with influencer culture.
For healthcare professionals who develop a significant social media presence that leads to a form of stardom, or perhaps paid marketing campaigns and endorsements for medical products or services, careful consideration and thorough vetting are required.
How's that?
This is essential to avoid ethical and regulatory issues that can arise from such arrangements. Transparency is key, and any financial compensation or relationship must be clearly disclosed to avoid any perception of impropriety or bias influencing patient care decisions or advice.
Full disclosure.
Absolutely critical. Finally, there are considerable legal issues at play.
The legal side, right?
Any information posted online, even if posted anonymously or through what you believe is a private group, may be discoverable in legal cases.
So it can be used against you.
It means it can be legally obtained and used as evidence in a malpractice suit or other legal proceedings. Furthermore, and this is a major warning, responding to requests for specific medical advice via social media can directly lead to lawsuits,
Big danger zone.
as it potentially establishes a doctor-patient relationship without the proper framework for informed consent, examination, and documentation. The standard approach here should be a templated response that directs all clinical inquiries offline for a formal appointment or to appropriate emergency services.
Keep it offline for advice.
For existing patient-HCP relationships, obtaining informed consent for any online discussions about medical care is crucial, and all such interactions must be meticulously documented in the patient's chart. The stakes are incredibly high.
It sounds like it.
A nursing student, for instance, was even expelled for making obscene remarks about patients on social media, highlighting how broad and unforgiving the expectations of professional conduct are across the healthcare spectrum.
That's a truly comprehensive and rather stark overview of the risks. It makes it abundantly clear that while social media offers incredible opportunities, the potential downsides are profound and require not just caution, but extreme vigilance and a very deliberate strategy.
It really does demand careful thought.
So, Professor, How can orthopedic surgeons, indeed all healthcare professionals, navigate this complex landscape safely and effectively? What guidelines are out there, and crucially, where do we go from here? It's clear that a well-thought-out, proactive approach is absolutely essential.
It truly is. It fundamentally boils down to establishing robust policies and fostering a culture of wise digital citizenship. First, formal guidelines and policies are critically needed within healthcare institutions and professional bodies.
So top-down guidance.
Yes, these policies should comprehensively cover all aspects: professionalism online, patient confidentiality, acceptable content creation and sharing, and clear responsibilities for employees and practitioners. Fortunately, several prominent professional organizations do offer recommendations,
Woohoo.
including the American Academy of Orthopaedic Surgeons, AOS, the American College of Surgeons, the American Medical Association, the Federation of State Medical Boards, and the National Council of State Boards of Nursing. These provide foundational principles.
What are the key points they make?
Their key recommendations consistently include only sharing information from credible, evidence-based sources, actively refuting inaccuracies and misinformation, thoroughly understanding all relevant legal and licensing requirements, strictly avoiding direct patient contact on personal social networks, transparently disclosing any financial compensation for online activities, and ensuring that one's professional credentials are correctly and accurately stated.
The fundamentals, really.
These are the bedrock principles upon which safe and ethical digital practice is built. However,
There's a but.
despite these existing guidelines, a significant gap remains, particularly highlighted by a compelling study from Saudi Arabia. This research found that a striking 89.65% of orthopedic surgeons there had not read any social media guidelines for their profession.
Nearly 90% hadn't read them.
Wow. Furthermore, a continuous theme emerged among interviewees: a strong feeling that national guidelines were lacking and urgently needed for Saudi Arabia.
So a call for more specific guidance.
This is a crucial insight coming directly from orthopedic surgeons themselves, demonstrating a widespread, universal demand for clearer, context-specific frameworks to navigate this digital space. It tells us that while general guidelines exist, the practical implementation and awareness on the ground still have a long way to go.
That statistic about the lack of awareness regarding guidelines is really quite concerning, especially given the risks you've outlined.
It certainly highlights a need for better dissemination and education.
So beyond what institutions or national bodies might provide, what are the practical, everyday best practices that an individual orthopedic surgeon can adopt to protect themselves and their patients while still leveraging these platforms effectively?
Excellent question. Beyond institutional policies, there are several crucial general best practices for individuals that form the backbone of responsible digital engagement.
Okay, what should people be doing day to day?
First, always acknowledge your information and give credit where it's due, ideally by using direct handles or tags. Second, use relevant hashtags judiciously. Aim for a maximum of 3 concise, relevant hashtags on Twitter X to maximize impact,
Keep it focused on Twitter.
and up to 30 on Instagram, ensuring they genuinely add value and discoverability rather than just repeating keywords. Third, be authentic in your online persona, but also crucially, listen to the online conversation. Understand what your audience is seeking or discussing.
Be part of the conversation, not just broadcasting.
Precisely. Fourth, secure all your accounts with strong, unique passwords and enable two-factor authentication. Cybersecurity is paramount.
Basic digital hygiene.
Absolutely. Crucially, and I cannot stress this enough, never post protected health information, PHI, or expose others' privacy. This includes any identifiable patient details, images, or even indirect tidbits.
The golden rule.
Fifth, avoid responding to patients directly on social media for clinical advice. Instead, redirect them promptly and professionally to appropriate, secure channels, such as a formal clinic appointment or your practice's official website contact form.
Redirect, redirect, redirect.
Sixth, prioritize quality over quantity in your posts. A few well-researched, insightful posts are far more impactful than a barrage of superficial content. Seventh, exercise extreme caution when feeling emotional. Never post when angry, upset, or fatigued.
Step away from the keyboard.
And resist the urge to engage with trolls or confrontational individuals. Often, no response is the best response. Eighth, always use high-quality images and videos and ensure you have the explicit rights to use them to avoid copyright issues.
Good point on image rights.
Finally, be consistent with your posting schedule to maintain audience engagement, but avoid simulposting. That is, posting identical content across multiple platforms simultaneously.
Why not simulpost? Seems efficient.
Each platform has different audience expectations, technical display differences, and optimal content formats. So tailor your content to each platform for maximum effectiveness. What works on Twitter might look odd or truncated on Instagram, for example.
Those are incredibly practical guidelines. They paint a clear picture of what thoughtful digital citizenship looks like.
It's about being deliberate.
And it highlights a key nuance you touched on earlier. The type of communications surgeons feel is appropriate for social media. Can you elaborate on that perceived sweet spot for orthopedic surgeons in terms of online interaction?
Absolutely. There's a widely shared perspective among orthopedic surgeons regarding the nuance of communication in these platforms.
What's generally seen as, okay,
They generally view social media as highly appropriate and beneficial for purposes such as broad patient education, public health awareness campaigns, and providing general medical advice about common conditions or preventative measures.
so one-to-many information sharing.
Exactly. However, there's a very clear line drawn. Social media is definitively not considered appropriate for specific patient consultations, providing personalized diagnostic advice, or prescribing medication.
No one-to-one clinical stuff.
Their strong preference, and indeed the safest and most ethical approach, is to share general medical knowledge, discuss interesting or difficult cases with trusted colleagues within professional, secure forums, and engage in broader academic discourse.
Keep the clinical discussions for the right channels.
Direct individual patient interactions for treatment advice, however, are reserved for the traditional clinical setting where a full examination can occur, informed consent can be properly obtained, and detailed documentation can be maintained in the patient's medical record. This distinction is vital for maintaining professional boundaries, ensuring patient safety, and managing legal liabilities.
That's a crucial distinction for listeners to grasp. It's about leveraging the reach without compromising the core doctor-patient relationship.
That's the essence of it.
Finally, Professor, as we look to the future, what are the big unknowns? What limitations or research gaps are still out there that we, as a medical community, need to address to truly optimize social media's role in orthopedics?
Indeed, while we've made significant strides, we must acknowledge limitations and persistent research gaps.
What needs more work?
One key area is audience segmentation. We need far better strategies and tools for effectively engaging different audience types on social media. For instance, the way you communicate with a young athlete recovering from an ACL injury might differ significantly from how you engage with an elderly patient considering hip replacement,
Tailoring message.
or a peer discussing complex surgical techniques. Understanding these nuances will allow for far more targeted and impactful communication. Secondly, more rigorous research is desperately needed to truly understand the relative impact of different social media applications on actual health outcomes.
Does it actually improve things?
For example, how do social media-based interventions that involve peer leaders compare to those without, in terms of patient adherence to post-operative protocols? We have anecdotal evidence and strong intuition, but robust empirical data is still emerging.
Need the hard evidence.
Thirdly, the conditions under which identity building in online communities leads to positive or negative health behaviors are still largely unclear.
The impact of online groups.
While community support can be incredibly beneficial, how do we mitigate the risks of negative peer pressure, body image issues, or the spread of unverified health fads within these online groups? This complex area requires psychological and sociological research.
More complexity there.
And finally, persistent privacy concerns remain a significant challenge. This is particularly true in areas like health research recruitment via social media, where ethical considerations around data collection and consent are magnified.
Privacy is always there.
Similarly, how do we develop truly secure, trusted digital avenues for patient-doctor interactions that maintain privacy without creating barriers to care? These are not trivial questions. They are complex, multifaceted challenges, ripe for future research, technological innovation, and the development of even more sophisticated ethical and legal guidelines.
Constant evolution needed.
The digital landscape will continue to evolve, and so too must our understanding and adaptation within orthopedic practice.
If you found this deep dive valuable, please do consider rating and sharing it with your colleagues and networks. Your support helps us continue to unpack these critical topics. Professor, what stands out to me from today's discussion is just how quickly and profoundly the digital landscape is changing the very fabric of medical practice. It's an incredibly exciting time filled with unprecedented opportunities.
It really is.
But it's also one that demands constant vigilance, thoughtful engagement, and a very deliberate strategy.
Absolutely. The opportunities for professional growth, for collaborative learning, and for genuinely enhancing patient engagement and education are immense and truly transformative. But as we've discussed, the ethical, legal, and professional obligations that accompany this digital expansion require constant attention and adaptation.
Can't have one without the other.
The clear drive for specific national guidelines, such as those passionately discussed by orthopedic surgeons in Saudi Arabia, highlights a universal recognition that this digital space needs clear boundaries and robust frameworks to thrive responsibly and safely. It's about harnessing the power without being overwhelmed by the peril.
That's a powerful summary. So what does all this mean for you, the orthopedic surgeon, navigating this increasingly digital world? It suggests a future where digital literacy is not just an optional skill, but as critical and fundamental as clinical expertise.
A core competency now.
It implies that reputation management, ironclad data privacy protocols, and ethical, transparent communication will be central to your daily practice. We've seen the extraordinary power of social media to connect, to educate, to build trust, and to foster a deeper understanding of health.
The potential is there.
The significant challenge, and indeed the immense opportunity, lies in harnessing that power responsibly and strategically, not just to enhance individual patient care, but to collectively advance the entire orthopedic profession for years to come.
Well said.
Thank you, Professor Moimam, for shedding such insightful light on this vital and complex topic.
My pleasure. Thank you for the discussion.
And thank you, our listener, for joining us on this deep dive. Until next time, keep exploring, keep learning, and keep asking the important questions.